that? That's a Grinch.
I know. He's
Anyway,
an orange Grinch. He's a pumpkin season
okay.
witchy
We're
Grinch.
gonna hit record here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Coming to you from the inner sanctum of the Big Blue House. This is Paranormal Adventures with your host, Sean.
And Crystal.
Good morning, Chrissy.
Morning. More like evening.
Whatever. It's only 6:30 in the evening.
Yeah.
And there's Dealey. Hey,
Yeah.
Diddle.
Dealey's laying over here with us, being a really good girl this evening. So
Yay.
she's a good lab puppy tonight.
So, you have decided on something for us to talk about.
Yeah. Well, we started watching. Well, I kind of wanted to do this anyway, but we started watching a program. Neither one of us can remember. I think it's something about the history of the witch trials.
I'll look it up here in a minute.
Yeah, it's on Hulu, and we started watching that, and of course, the first episode was over Salem, and then they talk about Trier, Germany, which is where I'm going to start off this evening because that was like in the 1500s in Germany, and it was a lot of witch hunts and witch trials. A lot of innocent people died and were tortured into confessing and died anyway, even after they confessed, and it was such a tragedy and just that time in history. But there's a lot of crazy stuff surrounding all of it, and things that happened and people that saw things. I don't know if there's some people that could have been into that and maybe they did do some things like that. I don't know. But I think there was a lot of innocent people too. And then there was some women that I believe just knew a lot about medicinal herbs and different ancient things like that, and they used those to help people and help people in their villages. And I'm one of these. I definitely believe in people that are born with gifts and have gifts in their family and their family lines, but that doesn't make them something evil or a witch. So,
The show is called Witches:
oh, okay.
Truth Behind the Trials, and it is on Hulu.
Yeah, so Witches, the truth behind the trials, and that's a whole long series, and it's on Hulu. So that's what we've started watching. It's really interesting. So, but like I said, I think a lot of innocent people were definitely accused that didn't even do anything, or they were tortured into saying that they did, and a lot of stuff that they went through was just horrific. And to me, it was crazy how you got something pop up, but it was crazy how these people and these Puritans and people were, even the ones in Germany, were supposed to be good, God fearing Christian people, and they hurt and tortured people and basically tortured until they would confess, even if the person's like, no, I'm innocent, I didn't do that, I'm not a witch. They would still torture until that person confessed. Like this one guy that we'll read about, he was in Trier, Germany, and there was a big thing about him, and he was like, he had money, he was like a judge, and he was like prosperous in that village, and people were afraid after he died because they're like, well, anybody can be accused of being a witch then. They've done killed the judge, and he's like wealthy, and yeah, and they basically, he finally confessed, and it was after all this torture he confessed of what they were accusing him of. Well, then they killed him anyway. So, I mean, it was just like, it was so crazy how these people were done.
Uh, Sorry, I forgot that Craig and Richard are recording their episode tonight too.
Oh, okay.
So they're doing the Beast of Bray Road.
Okay, well, that's cool. So they've got theirs going on tonight too. But anyway, so I don't know what some of your thoughts on that before we start reading some of the historical, but
You know, there's a lot that I can. I don't see the really a lot of them are uh, really witches, but they do have a lot of knowledge about the herbs and things, and it could be uh, taken as
Yeah.
witchcraft because there's a lot of people that didn't understand how
Yeah.
like like the medical uses of
Certain
different
plants and
herbs and
crystals and different
plants
things like that. Yeah.
and
And I think a lot of these women that came from Europe, if we're talking about Salem and how that happened in Salem, Massachusetts, well, all of those Puritans and people that moved over from Europe, they brought a lot of these old legends and old folklore, and a lot of these women, they knew these old medicinal remedies and things like that. That didn't make them a witch. And I think a lot of them, that encountered good Native Americans that were friendly, a lot of these Native Americans probably showed them and taught them that, hey, this plant over here or these herbs are good for treating this or for treating that. And so they learned how to do a lot of this stuff, and they were helping people. And then all it took was one person to be like, well, you're a witch, and which to me, witch seems like such a man made word and term. Like I said, I'm a Christian person too, by the way, but my husband and I both are. But I'm open minded, and I do believe that people are born with certain gifts, like being an empath, like myself, or healers in your family line. Um, I think there are women, or even, I don't know, maybe men too. I mean, I just think there may be people in general are born with being like, I don't even want to say witch, I call them natural born. Some people would say natural born white witch, but I don't like using the term witch. But I think there are some natural born people out there that are just healers, or and they have empath properties and different things in their family line that gets passed down through families and gifts.
You know what? I kind of looked it up real quick, and I didn't realize that the witch trials in Salem. How long do you think that went on for?
They're trying to have me guess.
Yeah.
I would say at least 100 years. Or no? Am I even close?
No.
20 years?
It's gonna really surprise you.
20 years?
So, the Salem witch trials, were a period of mass hysteria and persecution in colonial Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
However you say it. Between the years 1692 and 1693.
So only a year?
Yeah.
Huh.
And get this, it resulted in the accusations of over 200 people of witchcraft, the executions of 20 individuals, and 5 more deaths in jail.
Wow.
So,
and did you know Tituba was one of the only ones that got away, and she was a Haitian servant in one of the houses. We can look that up, but she was teaching the girls, the girls of the house, how to open an egg and like see their future and stuff like that. And she just knew a lot of Haitian stuff, but she was one of the ones that was accused too for being a witch.
Haiti and stuff, places like that, I think more along the lines of
voodoo.
Voodoo, yeah.
They did some of that too, and it was actually in Haiti. It became called voodoo in Louisiana and all that, but the people that were from actually Haiti, it was a religion to them. It went alongside of Christianity, but they called it hoodoo. Hoodoo.
The from what I understood with the voodoo stuff, that it was the voodoo aspect of it kind of mingled with Catholicism.
Yeah.
With the Catholic
Yeah,
religion.
it kind of went alongside Catholicism. Yeah, it did.
My words are hard tonight.
But I'll pull up that stuff about Trier, Germany too. But that was some of my own kind of opinions on that too. Is that it was a tragedy, tragedy, not a tragedy. So someday I wouldn't mind taking a trip to Salem to see the Salem Village and all that. That would be kind of interesting.
You know what I found interesting about Salem though?
Yeah.
There are actually tunnels and stuff underneath Salem.
Oh, wow. Now, would some of those tunnels have dated back to like the Civil War where they were bringing in the black people up to the north, though, and getting them from the south? You know, some of the movement that was getting the slaves out? I just wondered if that could have been like for some of that, the freeman, how do you say it? Where they tried to free a lot of the...
That was the Underground Railroad.
Underground Railroad, yeah. So I'm going to read about Trier witch trials. This was in Germany, and I'll spell that for you guys. And like he said, it's on a documentary series that's on Hulu called, what'd you say it was? The the truth behind the...
It's like witches, the truth
behind the trials. So anyway, that was Trier, Germany, and that's Trier, witch trials. The witch trials of Trier took place in the independent Catholic diocese of Trier in the Holy Roman Empire, and these were like Catholics too during this time period and in Germany. And this is in the Holy Roman Empire in present day Germany. This occurred between 1581 and 1593. So this was like a longer time period that they were hunting witches and doing all this stuff. And it says, and were perhaps the largest documented witch trial in history. In view of the executions, wow, they formed one of the 4 largest witch trials in Germany alongside the Fulda witch trials, the Wurzburg witch trials, and the Bamberg witch trials.
So, you think about the witch trials, and I don't know about other people, but my mind automatically thinks of when they were convicted of being a witch, they were burned at the stake.
Yeah.
That never happened in the colonies.
In the United States, yeah.
In the American colonies.
No, that would happen in Europe.
All the burning at stake happened in Europe.
Yeah. And there's another thing that they used to look for. And it's a good thing I didn't live back during that time. Y'all aren't going to be able to see this close up, but they would look for like little moles or warts or a birthmark, any kind of a beauty mark, birthmark, little mole, and they would accuse you of being a witch.
They wouldn't like my butt spot.
I have like a little teeny tiny mole right here, but it gives character. It's a little tiny small one.
It's kind of ugly.
No, it is not.
I know. You're a cutie.
I actually kind of like it. I thought about having it removed, but I like it because it gives me character.
I kind of like it too.
But, and there's some, like, pictures and documents on the trials of this, and I will try to post those on our Facebook page tonight. I usually will stay up later than him, and I'll go through, like, what we just talked about, and I'll post that on Facebook, which is the Paranormal Adventures with Sean and Crystal on Facebook, so y'all can look at the page and look at some of this that we're talking about. So, it says... The persecution started in the Diocese of Trier in 1581 and reached the city itself in 1587, where they were to lead to the death of about 368 people. Possibly the largest mass execution in Europe in peacetime. That's just crazy. It says the number counts only those executed within the city itself, and the true number of executed people counted everyone executed in all witch hunts within the whole diocese. So it says was therefore even larger. The exact number of executions has never been established. A total of 1,000 has been suggested but not confirmed. That's so many people and just so crazy to me. So let me pull up some of the trials that they have here. Um,
So,
well,
we
he's
were,
looking at something too. So
we were talking about burning at the stake and stuff a little bit. It says, in many European countries, particularly those with Catholic traditions, witches were burned at the stake because they were considered heretics or those who rejected religious doctrine.
yeah.
So I had that on my mind.
Okay.
Sorry.
So the witch trials. In 1581, it says Johann von Schonenberg was appointed Archbishop of the independent Diocese of Trier. Um, uh, Schonenberg. I'm trying to see how to pronounce that, but anyway, so I'll just say, what did they call him? Archbishop. So okay, the Archbishop greatly admired the order of the Jesuits, in which he was wonderfully addicted. He built them a college, and as part of his efforts to demonstrate his convictions, he ordered the purging of 3 groups in society. First, he rooted out the Protestants, then the Jews, and then the witches. This guy just sounds horrible to me. Already, I do not like him. 3 stereotypes of nonconformity. That's what they were considered, I guess. That's so terrible. Man. He was the one responsible for the massacres of Trier, which, because of his initiative, support, and patronage, became of an importance quite unique in the history of witchcraft. The beginning of the persecutions was later described by eyewitnesses. Inasmuch as it was popularly believed that the continued sterility of many years was caused by witches through the malice of the devil, the whole country rose to exterminate the witches. This movement was promoted by many in office who hoped for wealth from the persecution, and so from court to court throughout the towns and villages of all the dioceses scurried special accusers, inquisitors, notaries, jurors, judges, constables, dragging to trial and torture human beings of both sexes. So it wasn't just women, it was men too. And burning them in great numbers. That's what you were talking about, burning them at the stake. Scarcely any of those who were accused escaped punishment or were there spared, even the leading men in the city of Trier.
I was reading this. People are savage.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think about the witch trials and them ending in the 1700s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at this. There's still people being executed for witchcraft to this day.
Well, we'll get to the more modern too as we go through. This may be multiple parts for this, so y'all stay tuned because this is only part 1. Because I think Sean and I are really going to delve into this, and like he was saying, it looks like there's modern day stuff still going on, so we should be able to get to that. Okay. This says here for the judge, two burgomasters, several counselors, and associate judges, canons of sundry collegiate churches, parish priests, rural deans were swept away in this ruin. So far at length did the madness of the furious populace and of the courts go, and this thirst for blood and beauty, that there was scarcely anybody who was not smirched some suspicion of this crime. It just seems like they were going around accusing everybody for power and just. I'll read this little bit and then we can talk a little bit more if he's got some stuff, and then we'll keep going. But it says between 1587 and between 1587 and 1593, 368 people were burned alive. Oh my word, I cannot even imagine that. For sorcery in 22 villages, and in 1588, 2 villages were left with only one female inhabitant in each. People of both sexes, all ages and all classes were victims. Among the victims, 108 were men, women, and children of the nobility, and also people with positions in the government and administration. I'm sorry, y'all. I just don't understand that. That's just so vile. I mean, I know the time frame it was in the 1500s, but I still just cannot fathom that. And what human beings can do to other human beings just wrecks my soul, you know. I cannot even imagine. And you fight fire, like he's a volunteer firefighter. He's seen what fire can do and the damage it can do. I cannot even imagine and even fathom being burned alive.
So, probably one of my. I'm moving on from the burning right now.
Yeah, because I'm about to cry just from reading all that. I just like.
This is one account that I think we might get into a little deeper on the next episode.
Yeah.
But the guy's name is Giles Corey. He was a man that was executed.
Yeah.
For being a witch.
Yeah.
And the way he was executed was by pressing.
Oh, I've heard of that one too. They did that in Salem.
Yeah, they would put like a stone on him, and they would say,
"Do you confess?"
They were trying to get him to confess to being a witch. They'd put a stone on him, and ask him, "Are you a witch?" He goes, and his response was, "More weight."
Yeah.
They'd put another stone. Confess that you're a witch. More weight.
He wasn't going to confess to something that he didn't do.
And they kept putting, every time they put a stone on him, they'd just say, more weight.
Until they killed him.
And I guess it's pretty much a combination of suffocation and crushing at the same time. Kind of like what an anaconda would do, you know. But I wouldn't mind getting a little more in depth on that one on one of our stream episodes.
Okay, yeah, because I think, like I said, and I told him as we were going to delve into this, I think this is going to be a multi-part series for us to do. It's very interesting.
This one's kind of an overview of the things that have got.
Well, we're talking about Trier, and that's one of them. So we're still on Trier, Germany, and I did want to read this because they talk about this guy on the program, and this is fresh in my mind from last night, and it was just like, oh my goodness. So one of the victims was Dietrich Flade, and he was a rector of the university and chief judge of the electoral court, who was in opposition to the persecutions because he opposed it. I think that's why he was singled out and accused, because he opposed what they were doing. Um, he doubted the use of torture and treated the accused mildly, and consequently, he was arrested, tortured, strangled, and burned himself, which made the witch trials even worse as it effectively put a stop to all the opposition to the persecutions. Um, the archbishop had a large staff to participate in the massacres, such as his suffragan bishop Peter Binsfeld, whose instructions in the subject published in 1589 and 1591 were used in the activity. The mass executions caused the population to shrink, and the executioner prospered economically, described as riding about on a fine horse, like a nobleman of the court, dressed in silver and gold, while his wife vied with noble women in dress and luxury. They were profiting off of this over innocent people. It just like blows my mind. And then this is a quote that's on here, and it says, "At last, though the flames were still unsated, the people grew impoverished. Rules were made and enforced, restricting the fees and cost of examinations and examiners, and suddenly, as when in war, funds fail, the zeal of the persecutors died out." Isn't that just awful?
Yeah.
But I guess that's pretty much all that it was stating about Trier. But I remember the judge, we were watching that last night, and he was not going to confess, and they tortured, he went through like torture after torture. I mean, like weeks of this, until he finally just said, "Yes, I did this, I did this, I did this." And then they still killed him and burned his body.
You know the tortures that they put these people through, they were tough.
They were horrible. Have you?
Yeah, I'm talking about. Imagine how tough these people were back then.
Yeah.
Because of all the tortures that they were put through, and they kept saying, "No, I didn't do it."
Yeah.
And they kept getting tortured and
Oh,
tortured.
I know. Daily. I guess she had to come say hello too. Don't knock anything over.
Come on, Ben.
So, but anyway, I just cannot believe that. I'm sure we'll end up talking about Salem more, but I will kind of pull some of that up and give a little bit of an overview history. But we're probably going to be bringing you guys some more coming up. Like he was saying, it's going to be a multi-part. Let's see, Salem. I want to go to the history of it. So it says, for the history, you're really distracting, Dealey, even though I do love you. The infamous Salem witch trials began during the spring of 1692 after a group of young girls, and this is how it started. It says a group of young girls in Salem Village, Massachusetts, claimed to be possessed by the devil and accused several local women of witchcraft. As a wave of hysteria spread throughout colonial Massachusetts, a special court convened in Salem to hear the cases. The first convicted witch, Bridget Bishop, I remember seeing that on that first episode, and that's awful. She was hanged that June, and she still, when she was on the gallows, still said, "I'm innocent." And she was hanged that June. 18 others followed Bishop to Salem's Gallows Hill, while some 150 more men, women, and children were accused over the next several months. And it says by September 1692, the hysteria had begun to abate, and public opinion turned against the trials, though the Massachusetts General Court later annulled guilty verdicts against accused witches and granted indemnities to their families. Bitterness lingered in the community, and the painful legacy of the Salem witch trials would endure for centuries. And I'll be brief about this because we are probably going to touch upon it again in some of our other talkings as we go on. But it says, what caused the Salem witch trials? Question mark. Belief in the supernatural, and specifically in the devil's practice of giving certain humans, witches, the power to harm others in return for their loyalty, had emerged in Europe as early as the 14th century. So we may be going back as far as that with some of our findings on our previous or our upcoming episodes. And this was widespread in colonial New England. In addition, the harsh realities of life in the rural Puritan community of Salem Village, present day Danvers, Massachusetts, at the time included the after effects of a British war with France in the American colonies in 1689, a recent smallpox epidemic, fears of attacks from neighboring Native American tribes, and a long-standing rivalry with the more affluent community of Salem Town, which is present-day Salem. So, and that was one thing it was saying on that episode. There was two families that were kind of feuding, and one family was accusing, and the other family was singled out as being some of the first witches that they were pointing fingers at. Woo! Sorry about that, guys. I had a video just pop up on my phone. I hate that. But yeah, so that's what they were saying. It was like two families, and we'll bring more about that on our next episodes coming up. But they were basically, one was accusing, pointing fingers, and the other ones were a lot of the ones that were first accused of it. And of course, Tituba was in the house where the girls were accusing, which they accused her and then started accusing some of the ladies in that feuding family, and then it just kind of spread and went from there like wildfire pretty much throughout the village. But
girls are mean.
We'll get into more of that too. But
anyway, I think I'm ready to stop on this one for today.
Okay, well, we'll do some more research and we'll bring y'all some more. The next one may be, I don't know how long we went, but
we're at 32 minutes.
Okay. But anyway, we're going to do some more watching on that. And like I said before, you guys can find that on Hulu. And that was Witches, the Truth Behind the Trials. And it's a long series, and we're going to be watching that as well as looking into a lot of the historical data on that. So, yeah, stay tuned because this is going to be a multi-part series. I'm super excited about it. So,
well, I think we done pretty good on this.
Yeah, I do too. What do you think, Dealey? You like that? You like that, baby girl? Dealey do?
So, the Supernatural Roundtable is doing their recording at the same time as we are.
Okay, so they're doing theirs tonight
too. They're doing theirs over the Beast of Bray Road.
Cool.
They've been doing some field research as well, so they're gonna get some recordings from that and everything.
Cool! They're gonna go out and do some Bigfoot hauls and stuff.
They went out this past weekend, and they're planning a collaboration with another group.
Oh, cool!
That's gonna be coming up soon. I'll mention them next time we
okay.
talk, because I don't remember what it was.
Well, anyway, while you're looking for that, then I also have been doing my own solo thing, and it's helping me and it helps other women. It's not paranormal or anything like what me and Sean do, but it's called The Pink Lady Speaks Her Mind, and that's on YouTube. It's a video podcast, and I talk and discuss a lot of things that, plague us women daily, as far as, just life, health, mental health, all kinds of stuff like that. And I've got 6 episodes so far up, so you guys can check that out. And I have a page for that on Facebook, and it's called the Pink Ladies Club. And so I do my video podcast that kind of follows my members on the Pink Ladies. And like I said, that's called The Pink Lady Speaks Her Mind. And so I've got about 6 of those episodes up and plan to get another one out Monday.
So the group that they're planning on collabing with,
yeah,
is named Spirited Investigations. You can find them on YouTube. Which he's English and she's from Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting.
They said you can tell they have accents. So
that's it. Well, we have accents too, being in Arkansas, so we know about accents. So, but that does sound really cool. So,
but
good.
I think that's coming up in October when they're doing that collab, and I'm probably going to join in with them on it.
Okay.
Then my other show, I'm going to try to do it once a month, is me, myself, and Flint, kind of like what she's doing with hers. Yeah. This is more kind of focused towards the guys.
Yeah, and he just does his once a month because he's pretty busy, whereas I do mine once a week, so. But it's kind of a good thing. I think his is helping him and hopefully helping some men out there, and mine's helping me and hopefully helping some ladies out there. So
anyway,
we're glad to be doing that and speaking our mind about some of that kind of stuff. Yep. And health and mental health and stuff like that.
Ugh.
So, but definitely stay tuned, stay spooky. This is going to be a really great series, y'all. I'm super excited about the witch trials and the history of that we're going to be getting into. So let us know what you think. What's our email address they can reach us at?
paranormaladventures2@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So I think we done pretty well, Boo.
I think so too. Well, y'all have a really nice night, and we'll catch you next week with some more on the witch trials.
Keep the shiny side up and the rusty side down. We'll talk to you later.
Good night.
Alright. That went pretty well.
Come on, Dealey.
Oh, Dealey. Dealey's gonna hurt me.
Oh!
She shoved.